You know that universal feeling, right? Like you're staring at an open suitcase on your bed.
Oh, yeah. The classic packing panic.
Exactly. And, you're just going on a simple, like, 3-day weekend trip. But somehow, inexplicably, you have packed 4 pairs of shoes.
Right. And probably a heavy winter coat, just in case.
Yes, a winter coat and enough outfits to survive, I don't know, a month in the wilderness.
It is the ultimate overpacker's dilemma. Because, well, you want to be prepared for absolutely any hypothetical scenario the universe could possibly throw at you.
Right.
You basically pack for the fear of what you don't know
Hmm.
rather than, the reality of where you're actually going.
And then, like, the funny thing is, you finally get to the beach, right? You haul that massive, heavy suitcase into the hotel room, you unzip it, and you realize you forgot to pack a swimsuit.
Oh, man. The one thing you actually needed.
Exactly. You brought all this complicated, heavy stuff that you absolutely did not need, and you forgot the one essential item required to actually get in the water.
That is painfully relatable.
Right. And that heavy, useless suitcase. That is exactly what traditional textbooks do to our brains when we try to learn a language. So today, we're doing a deep dive into a transcript from an English learning show called Speak English with Jay and May.
And this is such a great source.
It really is. And our mission today is to rescue you, the listener, from information overload. We are throwing out the winter coats and we're revealing the shocking truth about English tenses. We want to cut through the noise of all those complicated grammar grids and just focus on the only 5 tenses you actually need to speak fluently and confidently.
Yeah, and it is a massive relief to look at communication through this lens. What's fascinating here is the fundamental conflict between the tools we use to learn and the biological reality of how we actually communicate.
Right, because they are not the same thing.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, traditional grammar books are designed with one primary goal, which is to be complete. They want to catalog every single mathematical possibility of the language.
Every single rule and exception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But actual human speaking doesn't care about being complete. Speaking just wants to be useful.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if you've ever tried to learn a language, or honestly, even if you're just like looking back at your middle school grammar classes with a sense of dread, you know the struggle.
Oh, the dread is real.
It is. You open a textbook and you're immediately hit with this massive, intimidating grid of verbs. I mean, some grammar books list 12, sometimes up to 16 different English tenses.
Yeah, 16 is just absurd.
Just seeing that number induces this like low-grade panic. But the shocking statistic from today's analysis is this, and it's wild. Native speakers, people who have grown up speaking English their entire lives, primarily use just 5 tenses in daily conversation.
Only 5.
5, which is crazy.
It really is. I mean, it completely shifts the paradigm of what it means to be fluent.
Hmm.
And to illustrate what happens when you prioritize being complete over being useful, Jay and May share this incredible, almost painful anecdote in the source.
No, I know the one you're talking about.
Right. So there was this English student who spent 2 whole weeks, literally 14 days of her life, studying something called the future perfect continuous tense.
Honestly, just the name of that sounds exhausting. Like future perfect continuous. It sounds like a math equation, not an actual conversation.
Exactly. So overly technical. So anyway, she studies the mechanics of this highly complex tense for 2 weeks. Then she walks into a coffee shop in New York City.
Okay.
The barista looks at her and asks, the most basic, fundamental question imaginable. He just says, "What do you want?"
Oh, no.
Yeah. And this student, who had just been burying her head in the future perfect continuous, she completely froze. She went totally blank.
The dreaded barista freeze. But let's pause here for a second, because I want to know what is actually happening in the brain in that moment. I mean, she didn't just forget English, right? So why did she freeze?
Well, it all comes down to cognitive load. The human brain has a very limited amount of working memory. You can kind of think of it like the RAM on your computer.
Right, you can only run so many programs at once.
Exactly. When you stuff your working memory with complex rules, formulas, and 16 different tense variations, you max out the RAM. There is literally no processing power left to retrieve the simple, everyday vocabulary required to just look at another human being and say, "I want a coffee, please."
Wow. So she basically overpacked her mental suitcase. She brought the grammar she might need to write a highly specific academic paper, and she totally choked on the daily essentials.
That's exactly it.
So today we're unpacking that heavy suitcase, we're throwing out the snow boots and the hypothetical survival gear, and we are looking at just the 5 essential items you actually need to bring to the beach. So If we're stripping this down to the absolute foundation, we have to start with the present moment. Tense number one.
The simple present.
Exactly. The simple present.
Yeah, this is your baseline. That was like, we use the simple present for our habits, our daily routines, and universal facts. Things like, I drink coffee every morning, or water boils at 100 degrees.
Right, the stuff that doesn't really change.
Exactly. It's clean, it's direct, and it does a massive amount of heavy lifting in our daily lives. You can really think of the simple present as the tense of your identity.
The tense of your identity. I mean, that is a powerful way to frame it.
Well, just think about how we interact. When you meet someone new, and they ask, what do you do, or where do you live, you answer using the simple present.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I teach English, or I live in Chicago.
You aren't just talking about a fleeting action.
Right. You're establishing who you are and what your life looks like on a foundational, structural level.
But wait, here's something I notice all the time. If it is so simple and foundational, why do our brains naturally want to overcomplicate it? I hear learners, even really advanced ones, constantly throwing extra words in there. Like they'll say, I am study English, or I am live in New York. Why do we do that?
Oh, that's such a common thing. And it's because, to a learner, living in a new country or studying a new language, well, it feels like a massive, active, ongoing effort.
Oh, right. It feels like work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a static fact yet. Their brain wants to express that immense feeling of effort, so it instinctively reaches for the active word am. But grammatically, English demands we treat our identity as baseline data.
So no am.
Right. The rule for the simple present is to just use the base verb. I study. I eat. She works. No am or is needed when you are stating your reality.
Just keep it simple. Treat your identity as a fact. But, identity is static, right? If all you have is the simple present, you kind of sound like a robot reading a resume.
Yeah, very monotone.
Right. To show that you are a living, breathing human experiencing the world in real time, you need movement. And that's where tense number 2 steps in, which is the present continuous.
Exactly. The present continuous is for things happening right now in this exact moment. Like, I am learning English right now.
Right.
The best vocabulary phrase from the source to visualize this is in progress. Any action that is currently in progress and not yet finished uses this tense. They are building a new school. It's happening, but the paint isn't dry yet.
And the distinction between these first two tenses really comes down to a tiny shift in how a question is asked, like, what do you do versus what are you doing?
It's the perfect litmus test, really. What do you do? Is asking for your identity, your resume, simple present. I teach English.
Right.
But if a friend calls you on a Tuesday night and asks, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, they want your immediate reality, present continuous. I am teaching a class right now.
It's the difference between the overarching structure of your life and the immediate reality of your Tuesday night. But here's where it gets really interesting. Just as you get comfortable thinking the present continuous is only for right this exact second, we get a massive curveball.
Oh, yeah. This one trips up so many people.
Right. Native speakers use this exact same tense for the future.
They do. And it is a cognitive trap for anyone who isn't expecting it.
It totally threw me. Like, if a future plan is already arranged, if it's decided and locked in, you use the present continuous. You say, I'm meeting my friend tomorrow, or I'm flying to Tokyo next week. It's grammatically a present tense, but it is doing future work.
Yep.
So why does the brain do that? Why are we using present tense grammar for next week's flight?
It's all because of the psychological framing of reality. Cognitively, once you buy that plane ticket, once the hotel is booked, the event is no longer a theoretical future.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it is a reality in your mind right now. It has crossed that mental bridge from possibility to certainty. So the brain naturally reaches for the present tense because the arrangement is already a living fact.
Okay, but wait. If I am using the present tense to say, I'm flying to Tokyo tomorrow, what happened to the word will? Did we just make the future tense obsolete? I mean, what is the point of a separate future tense if the present tense is already doing the heavy lifting for all our plans?
Well, you'd think it would be obsolete, right? But actually, hold that thought. Because will has a very specific, almost psychological survival mechanism that we will definitely get to in a minute.
Okay, keeping the suspense. I like it.
But before we look at the nuance of the future, we have to look back.
We do. Because while talking about our current identity is great, human connection really relies on sharing our backgrounds.
Absolutely.
To truly connect with you, I need to know where you have been and what shaped you. And that brings us to the Storyteller's Toolkit, tenses 3 and 4. So tense number 3 is the simple past.
The storyteller's best friend.
Yeah.
Whenever you are talking about finished actions, What you did yesterday, what happened last week, a core memory from when you were a child, you use the simple past.
Finish in the past.
Right. I went to the market yesterday. Done and dusted.
But I have to admit, as much as I appreciate the utility of the simple past, this is the tense that introduces the absolute nightmare that is irregular verbs.
Oh boy. The irregular verbs.
Right. Like, why on earth does the verb go turn into went? Why can't it just be good? It defies all logic and reason.
It is deeply frustrating. I totally get it. But it actually makes perfect sense when you look at the linguistics of it. Irregular verbs are essentially linguistic fossils.
Fossil.
Yeah. So English is a Germanic language, and hundreds of years ago, there were all these different rules for how verbs change tense. Over centuries, society standardized most verbs to just add ed at the end.
Right, making it easier for everyone.
Exactly. But the words that people used every single day, the absolute most common actions, they resisted that standardization.
Because they were so deeply ingrained in daily life.
Exactly. When children say, I go to the store, society essentially beats it out of them and says, no, we say when, because it is used so frequently. So we are left with these ancient remnants. And Jay and May offer a hilarious analogy for this in the source. They say to treat irregular verbs like old eccentric family members.
Oh, I love that. The eccentric uncles of the English language.
Right. Think about that one eccentric uncle at a family gathering. You don't try to change him. You don't try to force him to follow the logical rules that everyone else follows.
You just let him be.
Exactly. He has his own rules,
Yeah.
and you just have to accept them and learn his name. You cannot logically explain why buy becomes bought. You just have to accept that that's how Uncle Bought operates.
You just accept their quirks. But, I mean, even then, the dictionary is overflowing with eccentric uncles. Do I have to memorize hundreds of them to pack my language suitcase?
No, and this is where the strategy of being useful over complete really saves you. You do not need to memorize the entire dictionary. If you just master the 7 absolute most common irregular verbs, you can effectively tell about 90% of your daily stories.
Wait, just 7?
Just 7. Go, come, eat, see, buy, make, and take. That's it.
7 verbs for 90% of your stories. That is the literal definition of packing light. Okay, so the simple past is straightforward once you accept the quirky uncles. But now we hit tense number 4, which is notoriously the trickiest one of the bunch, the present perfect.
Ah, yes. The tricky one.
This is the tense with have or has plus a past participle like I have visited Paris or she has eaten sushi.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the present perfect is doing something highly sophisticated.
Right.
It's much more than just stating a fact. It acts as a bridge between the past and the present.
A bridge between
Yeah, you could almost call it the tense of
a
consequence.
tense of consequence. Give me an example of the psychological difference there.
Okay, let's say you lose your keys. If you use the simple past and say, I lost my keys yesterday, it's just a historical fact, you might have found them by now. The story's basically over.
Okay, making sense so far.
But if you use the present perfect and say, I have lost my keys, you are signaling that the past action is actively dictating your present reality.
Oh.
It means you are currently standing at your front door, locked out, shivering in the cold. The exact time you lost them doesn't matter. What matters is the consequence right now.
It proves the past isn't dead. It's an experience that is still attached to who you are today.
Yeah.
And, because it's a bridge to the present, this is exactly why news articles rely on it so heavily to sound urgent and fresh.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they'll say, scientists have discovered a new planet, or the company has launched a new product. I mean, it technically happened in the past, but by using the present perfect, they are signaling that the ripple effects are hitting you right now.
Exactly. It creates a real sense of immediate relevance.
Yeah.
And in daily conversation, native speakers use the present perfect and the simple past together in a very specific kind of conversational dance.
Yes. The technique for this in the source is brilliant. When
Yeah.
you're talking to someone, you start with the present perfect to establish your overarching experience. You say, I have tried Korean food. But then, the moment you decide to add a specific time detail, you immediately switch to the simple past. You say, I tried it last year when I visited Seoul.
Experience first, specific details second.
To me, this is exactly like directing a movie.
Oh, how so?
Well, the present perfect is your wide drone shot, right? The camera is flying high above, showing the entire sweeping, timeless landscape of your life experience. I have tried Korean food.
Okay, I see it.
But you can't tell a whole story from a drone. So when you want the audience to pay attention to a specific moment, you switch to the simple past, and the camera zooms in tight on one specific time-stamped scene. I tried it last year in Seoul. Wide shot, tight zoom,
That is a phenomenal way to visualize how we control a listener's attention. Mastering that camera movement, shifting from the wide shot of your life experience to the tight zoom of a specific memory, is the absolute fastest way to elevate your speaking from sounding like a textbook to sounding like an actual human being.
Okay, so we've mapped our identity in the present, we've explored our background in the past. Now, let's return to the elephant in the room, the future. Because earlier, we established that if a future plan is already booked and scheduled, we use the present continuous. I am flying to Tokyo tomorrow.
Right, the locked-in plans.
So if the present tense handles our schedule, what is the point of tense number 5? The simple future with will, like I will call you later.
So this is where we get into the nuance of intention and volition. Will isn't really a tense of time. It is a tense of willpower.
Willpower, okay.
Imagine you are sitting on your couch and your phone rings, it's a friend, and they say, hey, my car broke down. Can you help me move some boxes this weekend?
Yeah.
In that exact split second, you make a decision to help them. You say, sure, I will help you.
Right, so it's about the cognitive reality again. The decision didn't exist a minute ago.
Exactly. The key concept here is spontaneous. You use will for spontaneous decisions, things you choose to do right in the moment of speaking. It is the verbal manifestation of a real-time choice. However, if you already knew about the move, like if you promised to help them last week and it was already in your calendar, you wouldn't use will when telling someone else about it.
Right, because it's not spontaneous anymore.
Exactly. You'd use the prearranged tense. You'd say, I can't go to the movies this weekend. I'm helping my friend move.
So I'm helping means the decision was made in the past and it's locked in, but I will help means I literally just decided to do it right now out of the goodness of my heart.
Precisely. Will is your go-to, meaning your automatic first choice for quick decisions, spontaneous promises, and on-the-spot predictions. Though, to be fair to anyone learning the mechanics of this, there is a lot of grace here.
Oh, you mean?
Well, if you accidentally use will for every single future event, whether it's planned or spontaneous, communication will not break down. People will understand exactly what you mean.
So you won't trigger a barista freeze?
No, you won't freeze the barista. But understanding that psychological difference between a scheduled reality and a spontaneous real-time decision, that is the polish. That is the difference between simply being understood and sounding incredibly natural.
Okay, so what does this all mean? We have stripped the 16 tense grid down to these 5 essentials. How do we actually deploy them in the real world? Like, how do we pack our conversational suitcase correctly so we don't choke when someone asks us a simple question?
Well, let's look at the rapid-fire coffee summary from the source. It shows just how incredibly efficient these 5 tenses are when you strip away the unnecessary cognitive load.
Yes. Let's speedrun this because it really proves how little grammar you actually need to cover every temporal dimension of your life. Step 1, your baseline identity, the simple present. I drink coffee every day.
Step 2. The action in progress, right this second, the present continuous. I am drinking coffee right now.
Step 3, the finished historical fact, the simple past. I drank coffee this morning.
Step 4, the wide-angle drone shot of your life experience, the present perfect. I've never drunk black coffee before.
And step 5, the spontaneous choice about the future, the simple future. I will drink coffee after this.
5 simple sentences. With minimal cognitive load, you have flawlessly communicated your routines, your current state, your history, your life experiences, and your future intentions.
It is remarkably efficient. And, if you want to see how powerful this is in a real social setting, there is an ultimate party trick.
Oh, I love this part.
Right. If you are at a gathering and someone asks you about your language learning journey or literally any new skill you were picking up, you can string all 5 tenses together to give one undeniably impressive answer.
It covers all your bases in about 30 seconds.
Let's hear it.
It goes like this. I study English every day. That's your identity, simple present. Right now, I am working on my grammar. Your action in progress, present continuous. I started 2 years ago. Your specific past, simple past. I have made a lot of progress. Your experience up to now, present perfect. And one day, I will speak English like a native. Your spontaneous future prediction, simple future.
Boom. You drop that paragraph at a dinner party and absolutely no one is going to ask you to conjugate the future perfect continuous. They're just going to be completely captivated by your story.
For sure.
Though it is important to acknowledge that every single learner has to go through mistakes to get to that level of effortless fluency. You have to experience the messy process of mixing up these tenses, of using a wide shot when you meant a tight zoom before it becomes second nature.
And that messy process is truly the core synthesis of this entire deep dive. The greatest trap of traditional grammar books is that they trick your brain into believing the goal of language is perfection.
Right.
It isn't. The goal of language is connection. When you speak to someone, they are not silently grading your verb tenses or checking your math. They are listening to your story. They are trying to engage with your ideas.
They're trying to figure out who the person is behind the words.
Exactly. And these 5 tenses, the simple present, present continuous, simple past, present perfect, and simple future, they cover 95% of those real-world connections. Whether you are navigating a high-stakes job interview, traveling to a new continent, building deep friendships, or just making spontaneous weekend plans, these 5 tools are the only items you actually need in your suitcase.
It is incredibly freeing to realize that you can finally leave the winter coat at home. So, to wrap up today, we want to leave you with a provocative thought to mull over. We've spent this entire time analyzing how these 5 specific tenses shape the way English speakers categorize reality and build connections.
Yeah.
But think about your own native language, whatever that might be. When you meet a complete stranger and you really want to genuinely connect with them, which of these conceptual areas do you naturally lean on the most to show them who you really are? Do you lead with the static facts of your daily habits? Are you someone who lights up talking about your current in-progress projects?
Or do you bond by sharing the wide drone shots of your past experiences?
Right. Or do you connect through making spontaneous future plans together? Which tool in your linguistic suitcase is your true go-to?
It is a fascinating way to examine not just how we speak, but how we project our very identity into the world.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep unpacking those ideas, keep analyzing how you connect, and we will catch you next time.